and non-functional testing. Now, in the functional testing, there are different type of testings are there. So now, first of all, I'm saying it right. If you are into the testing field, the first thing is we should know about what is functional testing and regression testing. So the functional testing. So functional testing is nothing but the name itself. It was saying it. Guys, always remember, don't by heart the definition. Just understand the concept. You keep it in whatever the words you wanted. You wanted to explain in your own language, you can explain that. But try to understand the concept of this. Functional testing. The name itself saying that functional. Means whether the application is working accordingly to the requirements or checking the functionality of an application according to the requirements, then this is called functional testing. What's there in that? For an example, there is a login page, username, password, and login button. Enter the username, enter the password, click the login button. It should navigate to the home page. This is the functionality of the application, right? Checking the functionality of this particular thing is called a functional testing. That's it. Hey, username, it should take the username, password, and doing it. Clicking the login button, it should take to me. And when I click the compose mail button, so the compose mail window should be open for me. So those are the functionalities, right? I'm checking the functionality of this particular objects or that particular application. So now objects is nothing but, so now when you open a particular application, so now if you see here, now when you click on inbox, you'll be seeing all the inbox mails. When I click on the compose mail, it created me the compose mail. So it's loading. So the compose mail box open. That's the functionality of this particular object. When I clicked on sent mails, I need to see all my sent mails. When I click on my drafts mails, it should show me the draft mails. That's not my functionality. So checking the functionality of an object or the application according to the requirements, then this is called functional testing. Is it hard? So I'm telling you, right, until unless you are into the testing, then you need to know about the functional testing and the regression testing the most. And always remember that give an example and then definition. So that makes your life very easy, and for others also very easy to understand your understanding. You can say that someone asked, hey, what do you mean by functional testing? Functional testing is nothing but checking the functionality of an object or the application according to the requirement, then this is called functional testing. Example, entering your credentials for a login page, clicking login button, it navigate to the home page. This is called functional testing. So this is how you need to define a functional testing. Next one, regression testing. I don't even ask you the questions, guys. I know that you people will not answer me.
We will answer.
No,
We
sir,
will answer, sir. We are ready to answer, sir.
Can I, sir?
Can I?
Go ahead, Shruti. What is regression testing?
Regression testing can be done in two scenarios. One scenario is when there is a new enhancement, we'll do regression testing. We'll check the new functionality along with the existing functionalities to know any side impacts. And the other scenario is whenever there is a bug and once it is fixed by the developer, then we will do we will test that bug and we will do regression testing, testing whether the bug have been fixed, and also we'll check whether there is any side impacts because of that bug.
Awesome. Cool. Good. Always remember, complete your job, your testing job depends upon the regression. And all the test automation, now whatever the automation which you are doing, going to learn and going to do in future, depends upon the regression testing. We do regression testing only in the automation. First of all, understand regression testing clearly. What do you meant by regression testing? Example, you got fever. I'm just giving you got a fever. You went to a doctor. He will give you some tablets and he will ask you, hey, are you reactive to anything? Means he have a fever, he given a paracetamol. While taking the paracetamol, there would be a side impacts. So because he wanted to reduce the fever, he shouldn't give you the side impacts, right?
Yes, sir.
So validating that, not only killing the respective disease and just taking care of any other side impacts are there or not. Checking this particular impacts is called regression testing. Regression testing can be performed in the two scenarios. Scenario number one, when there is a new functionality or new enhancement added to the system. So for an example, previously, I do have inbox and outbox. The new functionality was sent mails. Now, when I add this particular functionality, at that point of time, we will test this particular sent mails, that whether the sent mail is working fine or not. We also test this inbox and outbox, because if there is any impacts because of this particular send mail implementation, so we write the code for this. We write already this code. When you introduce this particular code, because of this particular code changes, is there any impact on this particular modules? Then this is called regression testing. So when we make any new enhancement, we will test that particular new enhancements. Apart from that new enhancement, we also test the existing functionality, that is there any impact in this one? Then this is called regression testing. This is what the scenario number one. Now, scenario number two, when we have bugs. What do you mean by bug? What do you
Bug
mean
is
by
an
bug?
error. Simply, it is an error.
Defect.
Defects. Any functionality not working as per the requirement.
I need the answer.
Whenever there is a deviation from the requirements, we call it
Bug, defect, error, fault, issue. What is the difference between these all?
Defect means the tester, when the tester identify any issue or error addressing to the developing team is called defect. Whereas coming to bug, once the development team accepts or agrees the state of the defect, then we'll be calling it as bugs here.
Good attempt, Swati.
Thank you, sir.
See, actually, bug and defect both are same, but there is a hairline difference, is there? However, I'll give you this assessment. Go back, read the difference between all these five, and come back on Monday and explain me what is bug, what is defect, what is error, fault, issue. Now, as per here, I need to define the definition for the bug. Let's see what is a bug. I expected when I enter the username, password, and then login button, it should go to the home page, but it didn't go to the home page. Is it not the deviation from the expectation? If there is any deviation from the expectation or deviation from the requirements, then this is called as a bug. That's it, very simple. See, hey, I thought this, but it not happened. If it is not happening, some issue there, right? So then that is called, that deviation is called the bug. The simple definition for the bug, yes, the deviation from the requirements is called a bug. So that is what, right? From the requirement, if there is a deviation, then that is called a bug. So now, whenever we got a bug, who will identify the bug? Who will identify a bug? Huh?
Testers.
Testers.
Only testers will identify the bug?
End users.
Example?
Sir, if we take the an application, it is released into the users, and they they feel the errors, defects.
They face the defects or
Yes, sir.
bugs. See, now some application in the production. For an example, take a Facebook. Suddenly
Yeah.
you encountered some bugs. So the bugs can be identified by testers, or when we are using that application, the end users might get it, or the in alpha beta testing, the user acceptance testing, even the client and these guys may identify the bugs, and even when you do the unit testing, the developers might get this one.
Yes, sir.
So now bugs can be identified by anyone, but majorly 90% would be identified by the testers only. So now once the testers identified the bug, so then what they will try to do, they will first identify the bug, right? So then that is called as new. That's a new bug, right? We identified a new bug. Now once we identified, so now this will be done by QA. So once we identified this particular bug, then it will go to the open. Open is a state. Here it will be assigned to the dev team. So new to the open means they will the QA will identify and make that as a new, and then they will assign to the developer, and then the assign once the developer assigned with this bug, he will open that bug and then he do the analysis whether it's really a bug or not. If it is considered that is a bug, so then the means he will be trying to fix that particular bug. Once the bug is fixed, then we need to do the test. The test is nothing but the retest. So now opening the bug, fixing the bug will be done by the developer, and retesting once again the QA will do. And as he started, he only should close this particular bug. He closes this particular bug. So now these are the bug life cycle. So this is called bug life cycle. There are multiple phases also. So anyways, when we come to the bug life cycle, we'll discuss there more. Means if it is not fixed, for example, in the retesting, once again there is a bug, then he will open this one. So once again, this is called reopen. That's it, right? Very simple. So he fixed it and he said that it is fixed. Then once again, he will be reopening it. Now, if it is not a bug, here the rhombus box will come. Why we use rhombus in the flowcharts? This is a flowchart, right? In flowcharts, why we use rhombus? For decision making, we use a rhombus. Yes, no. If it is a bug, then go and fix it. If it is not a bug, then you can close that particular bug, right? If it is not a bug, then what do we need to fix it? So like that, we will be having the phases. Now coming back here, now identifying the new bug, opening it, fixing it, retesting it, closing it. We have it, right? Now, when we have these particular bugs at this point of time, now fixing this and retesting that particular bug. Here, we are doing the retesting of this bug. Now, I'll not only test this particular bug, I'll also test the side impacted functionalities of this particular bug. Then this is called regression testing. If you see here, now when we got a bug, it will be new, open, fixed, and retested. And when we are doing the retesting, we not only retest this particular bug, we also test the impacts of that particular bug. Then that is called regression testing. Got it? So now regression testing can be done in two phases. One, the regression testing would be done when we have the new functionalities, or when we have the bug. We not only test that new functionalities or the bug, we also test the side impacts of this, the impacted modules, for checking that there is no any impacts on this because of the new enhancement or because of fixing this particular bug. Because he will go and fix the bug in his code. Now, when he fixed this particular code, if I tested only this one, this will work. But we don't know because of this one is impacted any other place. Because of this one, it shouldn't, see, by fixing this bug, it shouldn't make to rise another bug. So this is called regression testing. See, now you just imagine every day the application will be growing. Now, that new functionality will be tested as a functional testing. And this, as part of the regression testing, all the existing functionality also will be checked. Now, this is what the responsibility of a tester. On one side, he need to test all the new functionalities, and he should make sure that everything is existing properly or not. So then this is called a functional testing, regression testing. And this will be done in this particular 2 scenarios. And according to these scenarios, it would be moved further. Are we clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Any questions? We discussed functional testing and regression testing. And as part of regression testing, if you see here, we got retesting. What is retesting?
Testing multiple times the same functionality with different data sets.
Multiple sets of data.
Cool.
Testing a particular change which is already fixed for defect.
Yes. Now, when we have this, from this particular flow itself, we can understand that, hey, when we have a particular defect, I'm going to test it. Name itself, it was saying that retest means I need to retest this one. So checking the same functionality, for an example, now there is a problem in the username and password. I wanted to test this username and password. I wanted to retest the same functionality again and again. See, first time I wanted to test with Chris. Second time I wanted to test with Swati. Third time I need to test it with the Shruti. Next time I wanted to check with Sridhar. And then I wanted to check with the Hemant. Now these all credentials I'm checking it, right? I'm testing the same functionality with the different data sets. Checking the same functionality with the different data sets, then this is called as retesting. And retesting is a part of regression testing. Why I'm saying this stressed out, because in interviews, the people will ask you, hey, tell me what is retesting and regression testing. Differences between retesting and regression testing. Now you can say it right. Hey, retesting is a part of a regression testing. And in retesting, we will retest the same functionality again and again with a different sets of data. That is retesting. But regression testing is a broader picture. It's a parent. Now, I not only test that particular functionality, I'll test all the side impacts of that particular functionality. And this is called the regression testing. And that is called the retesting. Any questions on these 3? Now, non-functional testing. Hey, what do you mean by non-functional testing?
Checking the
Security
security, performance, compatibility of application, usability.
Awesome. Now, if you see here, functionality. Hey, checking the functionality of an application is called functional testing. Non-functional. Checking the non-functionalities of the, what do you mean by non-functionality?
Performance, usability, and reliability.
See, now, if you wanted to test the non-functionalities, means the performance of the application, security of the application, compatibility of the application, usability of the application. So these all things are called as non-functional testing. Now, what is non-functional testing definition? Checking the look and feel and performance of an application. Checking the look, feel, and performance or compatibility of an application is called non-functional testing. Example, in a page.
Can I say an example, sir?
Yes.
Sir, if we take this keyboard, we will check the keys and they are working. It comes under functionality. And non-functionality is if we decide the color of the keyboard is black or red, the color is actually looks like red or black. It is called non-functionality. In
Awesome.
these various like color, example, interface, etc.
Cool, good. Now, if you see here, compose mail button is this. Can you imagine the compose mail button this much big? That not looks good, right? And the color means it always says that, see, now it is neatly aligned. Can you imagine this? This is in a different directions. Snooze here, and right is left alignment, sent is right alignment, draft is centrally alignment. If it is there in if it is not in an order, will it be good to look?
No.
And is there any, if there is any particular spelling mistake here in the Gmail? Checking the look and feel of an object and compatibility of the look and feel of an application, or compatibility of an application, or performance of an application, or security of an application, then that is called as non-functional testing. You can take example, hey, performance of the application, or compatibility of the application, checking in the different browsers, operating system, or security of the application, checking all these complete security testing. All these things will be part of this one, right? So this is called as non-functional testing. See, now we covered 4 things: functional testing, non-functional testing, regression testing, and then retesting. So now under the non-functional testing, I'll be having my performance testing, security testing, compatibility testing, usability testing. Now compatibility testing, we have been gone through this one. What is compatibility testing?
Checking the app
Just
compatibility
checking
in
the
different
different browsers.
operating systems, different browsers, and different browser versions like that.
Awesome. So now validating the particular application across the browsers, across the browser versions, across the operating systems, across the operating system versions, then this is called as compatibility testing. Now, for going to the performance and the security, so it takes, because in performance we need to talk about 6 different categories of testings, which is load testing, stress testing,
volume testing,
endurance testing, volume testing, durability testing, spike testing. So these all things are there. Before going to that one, I just wanted to finish it off with the other categories of functional testing. I told you, right, when you have this functional testing, so these are the things which will be having it. Now we have been covered with the regression testing, we have been covered with the retesting, and then we have been covered with the unit testing. Units means testing the means the smallest part of an application, which is called unit, and testing that particular unit is called unit testing. We discussed about the unit. Now the next very important thing is smoke testing. What do you mean by smoke testing?
At the initial level, the builds will be reliably unstable, sir.
Entry level testing, we can say.
Whether the
application
is
properly or not, ready for testing or not.
Team, I don't want the group answers. I'll ask the name, please. Yeah, Swapna, go ahead.
Whether the application is ready for test or not, at the instance stage, we do smoke testing. It is stable or not.
Okay.
For further testing.
Cool. Vaishnavi?
The actually smoke testing is make sure that application is working properly or not. It's performed done by the quality assurance analyst.
Okay.
When we are going to and testing the application, it's ready for testing or not. We have to check that before it's going.
Okay, cool. Saujanya?
At the initial levels, while the application is developing, the builds will be reliably unstable, sir. And smoke testing is initial testing, which is done whether it is ready, when any application is ready to test or not. The main functionalities like whether it is starting or not is being tested in this testing.
Cool.
Verifies critical functionalities like application is starting or not.
Okay, good. I'll give you an example. I give the same examples in all other videos also. That would be appropriate. That's the reason I'll take the same thing. You're going for a war. You've seen it, right? Many war films, what the people will do. So now, means in the good olden days, not now. So nowadays, no wars are there, only the bio weapons and all. The previously, when you're going for a war, you will make sure that you have sword, and you'll make sure that you have shield, and you'll be getting prepared for the war. Now, in your home itself, you not do the war. You will go for the battlefield, and in the battlefield, you will start to do the wars or fighting, right? But you'll make sure that, hey, whether all my guards I have been weared properly or not, whether I have been properly carrying my shield or not, whether my sword is strong enough to fight with the people or not, we'll make check everything, right? That initial level of checks and making the application is ready for testing or not. You just checks that, hey, this application is ready for testing or not. That is what you will check. This is called smoke testing. Example, now I wanted to test Gmail. If Gmail itself, it is not able to navigate to this page, can you test something?
No, sir.
That's it.
No.
So now, when you are not able to navigate to that URL itself, then what else you will be going to test? Now, you are not able to log in. Can you test all other functionalities?
No.
No.
Can you not able to go to the inbox or compose mail? Can you test the functionalities of the compose mail? See, in the compose mail, I can go and test that, hey, I need to bold the text, minimize the text, and all these are all functionalities, right? Left element, right element, bullets, and underlining colors. You're seeing all these things, right? Changing the font and all. You want to test all these things. But if you're not able to open the compose mail, can you test this all?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So now, if you wanted to test something, always remember that smoke test cases are really very critical. And smoke test cases will help you that to go and then prepare that whether this particular functionality is ready for testing or not, either for the functional testing, either for the regression testing. Then this is called smoke testing. Smoke testing will check the readiness of an application for the testing, further testing. If smoke tests are failed, then there is no need to proceed further with the testing itself. You tell me you're not able to open the compose mail. Will you wanted to test all these 10, 15 different functionalities? Can you proceed further with it? Obviously not.
No, sir.
So that is where there is no point of testing that one. So always you need to remember that smoke testing will check the readiness of the application. Make sure that means it will prepare, hey, whether the application is ready for testing or not. So that is what we are going to check in the smoke. That is called smoke testing. Any questions?
No, sir.
Now, next one is exploratory testing. Exploratory testing. What do you mean by exploratory testing?
Exploring the
We are
application
exploring something.
and do
which we
testing on
don't-
that
which we don't
application,
know.
sir.
Okay.
Identify the functionality of the
We do,
application by exploring.
we do this type of testing when we don't have proper documentation or when we don't have proper KDs.
Domain knowledge experts.
Okay.
You don't have any knowledge of any application, we just go on the investigation or just like discovery of.
We don't know the functional particular application. Without having the knowledge, we are trying to do the exploratory. That is called exploratory testing. Example, we went for the Hong Kong without knowing anything. Where we are going, where we are visiting the places and all. We have to go to some travels agency, we take the information and we'll buy one without anything we don't know. So we are trying to exploratory that something. So we are trying to do that that is called exploratory testing.
Awesome. Good that you explain with the example, Vaishnavi.
Thank you.
Explore means I don't know. What is the difference between an invention and discovery? Many people say that, hey, this is invention and this is discovery. He discovered it or he invented it. What is the difference between invention and discovery?
Invention making a new thing, sir. Discovery is finding the already existing, sir.
Awesome. See, invention is, it is not existed before. You are newly bringing that one into this world. Then this is called invention. Discover, already something is existing. We found out that now none of the people found out it. So that is called as discover. So that's the reason people will say that he discovered and he invented. That's the difference between it. Now the same here when it comes to explore. Already there is something, but we don't know that. I need to explore and understand what is that. The right example which Vaishnavi has been given, that I went to some city or some place, some country. I don't know the places there, but I'll try to start exploring. I'll keep my backpack and then I'll wear my shoes and then I'll go around the city and then see, hey, how the city is. And I'll just ask, boss, what are the best places to here to visit? And what are the best foods I can try over here? And what are the best things I can buy over it? So now whenever we go to some place, for an example, now if I go for a Goa or some other, any particular place, you can take anything. You can go there and then you can start exploring, hey, what are the best places here I need to visit in here? I need to go for this. I need to go for this, go for this. Means you go there and then you'll understand that. Same way, without having any particular proper knowledge or without having any particular proper documentation, if any particular application is there, we will try to explore that particular application and then understand the functionality, and then you will test that particular application. Then this is called exploratory testing. Simple, easy to understand. The testing is really easy when you try to understand with a practical example. And there is no need to by heart the definitions. With the name itself, you can able to understand what is that. Now, ad hoc testing. What do you mean by ad hoc?
Is something suddenly happens.
Suddenly
It's an
unexpected.
emergency situation.
That's it. Ad hoc means sudden. Hey, he got a sudden heart attack. Means which is not expected. Which is not expected. Suddenly, if something happened, I need to test that one. Now, previously, this guy given an example, Sridhar, hey, something happened in the production. Production issues are heart attack situations, right? For an example, without, in Amazon, without making a payment, you are able to get a product. Can you imagine for 10 minutes if there is like this? What would be the situation? The website would be smashed. Without doing the payment, you are able to get the product, means crores and crores of people will start doing continuous orders, right? 10 minutes. If you have one bug, complete company can be closed. Any production issues, those are called as hot fixes. And these ad hocs will come, means suddenly, which is not planned. That is called ad hoc. So those means you need to go and fix, we need to go and test that particular things. I told you that the payment issues or any particular bugs like that, if you got it, so that bugs will be taken it and that will be fixed. That is called as hot fix. Hot fix means it is really very, hot to touch. It need to go into the emergency as quickly as possible. See, now you will have that, right? In hospitals, you have emergency ward. The same way, this will be taken it and then it will go as a hot fix to the live. Take, fix, test, go live. Now, suddenly because of this one, some ad hocs will come. Ad hocs means suddenly, which is not planned. So hot fixes are different and ad hocs are different. Ad hocs are purely unplanned. Hey, I planned this one, suddenly, I planned for some place, suddenly I changed from this one. So now I'm planned to go for Hong Kong. Suddenly in the meantime, I changed my destination to Singapore, and from Singapore, I wanted to come to Hong Kong. So there is a plan change ad hoc, right? Now, when you change this one, you'll not have proper planning, right? So suddenly I changed it. Because of sudden change, I need to look for my cabs, hotel, and then all the things I need to take care, right? The same way, when you make this ad hoc changes, you need to test that ad hoc will not have the proper documentation and all. So you need to plan accordingly and test that and do it. So this is called ad hoc. So ad hoc testing is nothing but when we have a functionality suddenly without having any plan and testing that particular functionality, then this is called as ad hoc testing. And all these things, whatever I said, the exploratory testing or ad hoc testing, smoke testing, regression testing, all these would be the part of functional testing only. The non-functional testings are this, but all these things are part of functional testing only. Now, what else the testings, the most important things are there here. Now, recovery testing. What do you meant by recovery testing? What do you meant by recovery testing?
Recovery means getting data back. Suppose if we are
Recovering from the
creating a mail,
unexpected situations.
What you meant by recovery?
recovery means getting back.
Getting back. Yeah.
Getting back to normal. That is
Yes,
called
getting back to normal.
recovery.
Recovery.
Okay, that is recovery. Now, for an example, you are making a payment transaction. Suddenly, there is a power cut or you lost your internet. If at all, that will say that if it didn't show anything, it's in a blank page. What is your situation? You would be shouting on this guy. Actually, the problem is you don't have internet, but you will start shouting on this particular guy. For example, you are making some Swiggy order, food order. When you're doing this food order, now you do this, start the payment, and the payment transaction, it was, you have done the payment deducted, you got this SMS that, hey, you paid 1,000 rupees for the food. But here it was in a bank page. What would be your expression? Rather than that, so now here it will say that, hey, you lost your internet connection, transaction will be aborted, your money would be refunded back in 3 to 4 days. If you got this error message, how you feel? Or without having any error message, blank page, how you will feel? So now when an issue occurred, so how you are recovering back from that particular thing is what the most important thing. So then this is called recovery testing. So how you are recovering back from an incident. So now this is an incident happened. So now this, from this incident, so how you are handling the situation? It may not go to, see, now this is may not go through. See, because this transaction itself, it's failed, and they are saying that, hey boss, don't get worried, your money would be back. Within 3 to 4 working days, you'll be getting the money back. So this is what recovery. So now from this particular, coming back to the normal, once it shows this particular error message, and then it will go for the home page. So now once again from the home page, I can go and then start performing the same action. I can reorder. I'll check because of internet connectivity. It might be for the internet connectivity or for any network issue, because of this one it failed. But now what we are trying to say that, hey, it will be done. So or else you will, if you go for Flipkart and Amazon, this will be more frequently, you can see it. It will say that order in progress. They will not confirm your order, but the money would be deducted in progress. And after 15-20 minutes, they will say that, hey, your order is processed. You'll be getting this. Because of due to heavy load, probably they will be doing this one. So recovery means, if at all any incident happened, and from that incident, how you are recovering and getting back to the normal, testing this particular workflow is called recovery testing. Cool. Any questions on this?
No.
Okay. So now we have been tested with ad hoc and recovery, and we know the integration testing. What do you mean by integration testing?
It's combining
all the modules together and the test.
Combining all the modules.
See, now I have module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4. combining all these particular modules, and I'll test that complete modules with the approaches, whatever there are 3 approaches which have top to bottom, bottom to up, this one.
Sandwich are bad.
Testing this particular, all the modules, and then giving out that particular results, then this is called as integration testing. And next one is DB testing. What is DB testing? What is DB?
Database.
Now database testing. In database, what we will be having?
Data.
Storing the data.
Storing the data. How the data will be stored? In the tables, we will store the data. So now when you store some data, whether the data is stored properly in the table or not, and when you are retrieving the data, whether the data can be retrieved properly or not. Now in the tables, what I'll be having, number of rows and the number of columns. So this is what the rows and this is what the columns. Now I stored this particular data in this particular thing. So this is called as cell. In each cell, I'll go and store my data. So now first name, I'll be storing with Sridhar. Next name, I'll be storing with Hemant. Third name, Shruti. Fourth name, Shwati. So now I'll be having all these particular names. I'll be storing it over in this one. When I wanted to retrieve, means I wanted to make sure that all my data has been properly stored in this particular table. And when I'm retrieving this particular data, whether properly the data is coming back or not. So now, and not only the thing, what I'll try to do, I'll see that whether the quantity of this one. So now when the people hey, already it's 10:05. So Pina, anyone is joining?
Hello, Anna.
Anyone is joining, Pina?
They are waiting, Anna. But
you can allow them. You can allow them. You can allow them. I'm getting the call here.
Okay. Okay.
Vamsi, you can join. You can join this into this.
Yeah. I'm admit.
You can admit all.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just finish off this one, Pina. In the meantime, whoever joins, let them join.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so now if you see here, now you validating, so now you will be having the number of, for an example, I have 30 students, right? 30 students information means, for an example, hey, this is Sridhar, what's his place, what's his graduation, so what his scores in the previous assessments and all. Now second row, it is for Balakrishna. So now Balakrishna's name, address, blood group, and what's his scores and all these informations. And next one is Ashrit. So now Ashrit's name and then his credentials, address and all, we will be storing it. So now if you see here, the number of rows and the quality means each cell data, I'll be validating it. So if I started to validate the quality and the quantity of this particular tables, then this is called as DB testing, means database testing, means I'm testing this particular database, means the database consists of multiple tables. Can you go on mute? So if at all I wanted to test the data in that particular database, whether properly the data has been stored into these particular tables or not, then this is called DB testing. That is how the database testing would be carried out, and then it would be validated. Okay, so now for today, we have been covered that, hey, what do you mean by functional testing, non-functional testing, regression testing, retesting, compatibility testing, and exploratory testing, ad hoc testing, smoke testing, and recovery testing, and then database testing. So these all things we have been validated over here. Any questions? And once again, I'm saying that if you guys are prepared well, and then only come for the next session. If not, perfectly fine, you guys can drop off.